Hey guys, welcome to today's video. I am here to film a video that I saw my friend Amy from Amy Loves Makeup film, and it was talking about her collection of influencer eyeshadow palettes or influencer palettes. So I have a stack of palettes here that were created from influencers collaborating with brands, and I thought that I would share my collection with you. I also thought that it might be fun for me to film a collection video where I'm sharing all of the like influencer brands, like makeup that I own that is from an influencer brand. So if you want to see something like that, please let me know. But today we're talking about influencers collaborating with brands to create palettes. If you're new here, hello and welcome. My name is Kelly and I love all things makeup and beauty. I love talking, I love makeup, I love talking about makeup. So if you like to chat about makeup too, I would love to have you subscribe and be part of the K-Bella fam. Why don't we go ahead and jump into the video. Start with my two newest collaborations. Both of these were sent to me. The first one is what is on my eyes here. I created three looks using the Sigma Angela Bright collab. I was very excited to receive this in PR because I do get PR from Sigma, but it's like here and there, and I didn't know if I was gonna get this. I saw the pictures, and at first I was a little bit intimidated because I am a neutral lover, but after actually playing with it and realizing how many neutral easy shades there are, or how I can play with color and not be super intimidated, I was super excited to get my hands on this. I'm so excited for Angela and for Sigma. I do really enjoy the Sigma quality, but I have to say, this palette itself seems like it's even a step up from the normal Sigma quality. I could be totally wrong with that. I do have several of their palettes, but I don't find their shimmers to be like full of pigment. However, with these shimmers, they were full of pigment. So I don't know, but I did create three looks with this. I absolutely love this eyeshadow palette. I'm excited to create more looks. I feel inspired to create more looks with this palette. And through the end of June, Sigma does have a customer appreciation sale going on. I have a code with Sigma. It's K-Bella if you're interested. And using the influencer code, it doesn't have to be mine, using any influencer's code, you can go ahead and actually get 40% off. I'm not sure if it will work on collabs or not, but if there are other things from Sigma that you would want to try, definitely go ahead and check that out. But I absolutely love this palette. I'm enjoying it. I'm having fun playing with it, and I'm so thankful that it was sent over to me. The next palette is, I was going to say it is a collab, but all of these are collabs. This next palette is new to me. It was sent to me again, and it is a collaboration with one of my best friends here, Heather Austin. She collaborated with Unearthly to come up with the Resurgence collection. I think the packaging is absolutely beautiful. You have such a substantial box here, and then such a fun color story. This is such a different color story for me. It definitely challenges me and makes me come outside of my comfort zone, which I appreciate, but the shimmers really stand out for me here. I love a good shimmer. I feel like Indie does it best. They have these beautiful duochromes and shifty shades. There's just so much. I mean, can you see the different shifts in the mirror there? I don't even know if you can tell, but the pigmentation is great. The formula is great. I really enjoy this life shade. It's more of a satin, but it's great on the inner corner. I actually would love to put it all over my lid and see how it looks too. I've really been enjoying this. Of course, I know that Heather poured her heart and soul into this. She is such an amazing person, such a great friend. I'm so thankful to have met her in this space and to actually have developed a friendship like outside of YouTube and outside of social media. So I'm so proud of her. I'm so thankful that I got to try this, and I'm now really excited to see what else Unearthly comes up with. Since we're talking about Heather, I might as well name her other collab that I have that was, again, sent to me, of course. Mine looks heavily loved, and it is the Heather Austin palette from Adept Cosmetics. This was her first collab. It is this beautiful palette here. You can see mine is definitely loved, and I am someone who like lightly taps into eyeshadows, but again, for me, it's all about the shimmers in this palette. The shimmers are amazing. I really like to take Atlas and just throw it in the crease and then pick any one of the shimmer shades and pop that on the lid. You get a beautiful, like, easy look. I don't have to think when I'm reaching for this palette. I can just reach for it. Like I said, throw Atlas in the crease, put a little bit of PaO2 in the outer corner if I want, and then any lid shade. You also do have these beautiful green mattes over here, but I have to say I reach for these mattes more. But the shimmer shades, they are just so impactful, so shifty, so beautiful. Again, I was super excited when Heather and Adept sent this over to me, and this continues to be a palette that I reach for time and time again. Another one of my friends, Samantha March, created a collab palette with Ofra Cosmetics. This is the Life's a Draft palette, and she was able to collab with them before where she picked out favorites, but this one is her actual palette that she created the colors for. You have a beautiful array of purples up here. I do find the Ofra eyeshadow formula is not my favorite. I don't think it's bad, but I just feel like I expect more from my shimmers, or I prefer more from my shimmers, more like punchy, shiny, shimmery looks. And these shimmers are more of like a satin look. And I felt that anytime I reached into these eyeshadow shades, I just kind of created a similar look each time, which could totally be like on me, but the face shades are really standouts for me. You have a bronzer, a blush, and a highlighter here. I absolutely love this highlighter shade. It's so unique in my collection. Ofra highlighters are some of my favorites. They're so pigmented, they're so punchy. You can probably hear my daughter and husband playing in the background, but I love these face shades. I do find that this bronzer is a little tiny bit warm for me. It's the matte bronzer from the River bronzer that she created, the split pan, and I think this blush is the shimmery blush from her Chiclet collab, but this, her Dream Chaser highlighter is new and I absolutely love it. So super excited to have this one. This next palette I have not had a chance to try out yet, but when I went on the Creators and Friends trip to Charleston, I met Amanda, Makeup Just for Fun. She became a fast friend. I absolutely love her. I think she's amazing, and she collaborated with Odens Eye to come up with the Flora Story palette, and we were actually sitting at lunch when we went to the beach, and we were sitting in Taco Boy, and she was talking about her collab and how she got to collab with Odens Eye. And literally in that moment, I went online and ordered the palette. I have not even had a chance to get it yet because it just came to me recently. Now, my Misty shade came a little broken. It was packaged beautifully. Odens Eye packaged it beautifully. So I just took my finger and kind of pressed it in a little bit. But this palette looks amazing. It looks absolutely stunning. I cannot wait to try it out. These mattes look super creamy. I haven't even swatched it yet. I can't wait to use this Dawn shade, this Magnolia shade, Best Buds. Misty looks beautiful. Lush is a very unique kind of shifty shade. So I was super happy for Amanda, Makeup Just for Fun, that she got to collaborate with Odens Eye, and I'm very, very excited to actually try this out. I will create a couple looks and film a video on it. I know that this palette is not like new in like social media YouTube space, but it's new to me and I'm super excited to play with it. I have two palettes with my friend Angelica Nyqvist. The first that she created was with Kaleidos. This is my first time trying Kaleidos when Angie created the Club Nebula palette. I did purchase this one myself and I was very intimidated because it's definitely a very colorful palette. It's a very Angie palette. You have these deep, rich matte shades, but then these beautiful shimmer shades. But what I quickly found out was that I was able to create more looks that are comfortable for me, more toned down looks, by taking Naru, putting it all over the crease, taking one of these shifty shimmery shades, or even laying down one of these deeper shades on the lid and taking one of these shifty shades and putting it on top. I was able to create a look that I was more comfortable with. You can no longer get this palette anymore. It did sell out. It released a couple times and sold out, but it's still a very, very fun palette. It's fun to have in my collection. It is a little bit bulkier than I would like, but I do enjoy the formula and I get fun pops of color when I create looks with this one. Then Angie collaborated with Odens Eye to come up with the Hela palette. This one is a little bit more up my color story alley because you do have a little bit more of like a neutral vibe. Now there's still tons of color in here. The bottom row is super colorful. You have pinks, you have greens, but I feel like I'm able to dial it back easier than I was with the Club Nebula palette. I did create a couple looks here. I really love this double-sided shade. I do really love this River shade. I like that you can kind of create like a more bronzy eye up here. This yellow shade is unique in my collection. I definitely want to be reaching for this one a little bit more. I want to play with it a little bit more, but I think Odens Eye did a great job with the formula, with the mattes, with the shimmer shades, and again, really, really love this double-sided look. I don't think you can get this palette anymore. I do think that it sold out, but it was out for a while, and I mean, come on. Look at the packaging here. Like Odens Eye creates some beautiful, stunning packaging. The next palette that I have is a collaboration between Sydney Grace and Mel Thompson. I am so glad that Mel was able to collaborate with Sydney Grace before she passed, because now she left a legacy. I know that Sydney Grace still releases the Tiny Marvels palette. I do believe her family gets a portion of the sales, but this is such a fun color story. Firebutts is one of my absolute favorite shades that I have in my collection. It's such a unique green gold shade, but I love that you have fun pops of color, but you also have some neutral shades here. I was able to meet Kelsey Brianna J, and the shade BB is named after her because she was best friends with Mel. They were best friends in real life. They hung out all of the time, so I was able to meet Kelsey on the Creators and Friends trip, and she talked about Mel a little bit, which was really nice to hear about their friendship and hear about them. But I'm so thankful that I was able to pick this up, that I have this in my collection. And like I said, Sydney Grace does still release the Tiny Marvels palette if you're interested in trying it out. It is great quality. I really love the Sydney Grace formula, and I think if you don't have it and you've been eyeing it, it would be a great time to pick it up. Last but not least is the oldest collab palette that I have in my collection, and it's one that I no longer use, but I hold on to it for the fond memories. It's the Joseph Colors Friendcation palette between Desi Perkins and Katy from Luster Lux. They created this palette here. I got their other Joseph Colors collab when it was the little quad, just the shimmer shades, and I didn't love it. I ended up decluttering it, so I was on the fence about the Friendcation palette. I did pick it up and I really enjoyed the matte. It was the shimmers that weren't really doing it for me, but I kept the palette anyway, and it is very sentimental, and it has a nice, it gives me good vibes, good feelings when I look at this palette, even though I no longer use it, because I did meet Katy and Desi when they did their squad tour several years ago, 2017, 2018, and they came to Houston. I was able to meet them. So when I look at this palette, I think of that. I keep this just for the memories. I don't use it anymore. I don't know that the shades would perform anymore. And although I didn't love the palette, the quality of the palette, I still love the idea behind it. I love that Desi and Katy were able to create something together, and I have this to look back on and think of the time when I got to meet them. But that's going to do it for this video. Those, I believe, are all of the collab palettes that I have in my collection. If you have influencer collab palettes, I would love to know down below whose collab palette you have. What do you think of it? I want to know. Also, if you're interested in a video where I look at influencer brands like Auric from Sam Ravendall, Vive from Jamie Genevieve, Manny, Lunar Beauty, if you're interested in seeing my collection of influencer brand products, let me know down below. Otherwise, that's going to do it for this one. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.